Welcome everyone to the Roundtable News Network. It is now Royal Rumble Day. I am your boy, the franchise player, Double B Babylon. I am joined by the Sunday center of all Sunday center and the Drew Nicholas. Welcome to the Roundtable News Network. It is episode 4, guys. What is up?
4 weeks in. 4 weeks in.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a really, 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 really crazy week in the world of professional wrestling news. Some things we're going to talk about, some things we're not going to talk about today.
And I think being that I am now on the Roundtable News, I am the official Ron Burgundy of the Roundtable News Network.
Make sure that all teleprompters are
right.
Not going to have profanity laced.
That's right. No profanity laced here. Let's jump right into it, man. Like, we got some pretty cool news other than what's been going on recently.
We've covered enough of that.
Yeah, we've covered way too much of that.
Yes, please go back and watch our coverage of the past 2 nights of that stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about some renewals. We got a new renewal of a contract in WWE, as per Mike Johnson, the PWI Insider. WWE United States Champion Logan Paul announced on his Instagram that he's renewed his contract, and he's saying that he's going to be around for a long time. It is going to be his full-time job. So maybe it's time for him to stop treating it like a hobby. What do you think about that? Like Logan Paul tonight defending the United States Championship live on Peacock against one Kevin Owens fight at the Royal Rumble. What do you think about that, the Drew Nicholas?
Well, if he really does want to dedicate all his time, for the most part, I mean, what else does he do? He has a podcast and he does fights occasionally, but he hasn't really been doing that since he signed with WWE. If that's what he wants to do, then that's nice for the wrestling business, I guess. I'm not particularly a fan of Logan Paul, but I think that he gets the business, which is, I guess, the bare minimum of qualifications these days. If you want to be wrestling, you got to get the business. So in that case, I'm sure he's bringing eyes. He's got his Prime thing with KSI, and
we've seen KSI before. KSI interfered in a match when he won the U.S. Championship, I believe.
No, I think it was a match with Ricochet. No, it was a match with Seth Rollins and Mania.
Oh yeah, it was. That's right, because he did the splash off the top rope to the outside onto the bottle of Prime, which ended up being KSI. So yeah.
So I will say this: when Drew says he gets the wrestling business, you have to look at the world that that Logan Paul comes from, which is YouTube, social media star, which you got to be just as carny to be a social media star as you do to be in the wrestling business. So it makes sense that he gets the wrestling business. You're working people when you're a social media star and making them think, you have all this money or whatever. And
yeah, I mean, he gets the wrestling business. He swindled fans out of money. I mean,
he swindled many fans.
He's a carny just like the rest of them.
He's a carny at heart. He's like the guy that ran what was that fight or that fest? Where everyone showed up to that island and like all they had was bologna sandwiches. And they were promised like these
Fire Fest.
Fire Fest. Yeah, he's like the guys behind Fire Fest. Those are wrestling promoters at heart. I don't care what anyone said. People behind Fire Fest could probably run the greatest wrestling promotion in the world.
Shitty people for the people, and probably shitty people too, who went to Fire Fest. But God, that was a great documentary to watch.
It was actually. Also, per Mike Johnson, a PWI Insider, shout out to Mike Johnson for all of this great news. Tony Khan on Twitter says he is very excited to announce that the stars of CMLL are coming to AEW tonight. They're going to be debuting they're going to be debuting on Collision tonight. We're talking Mascara Dorado, Volador Jr., Mystico, or as Christico, whatever he calls himself now, and Ray Hitch. I can't say the last name, but we got 4 members of CMLL. We all know that CMLL is the oldest wrestling promotion in Mexico, followed by AAA, if you want to call it that. But we all know that AEW has a working deal with AAA, and CMLL has a working deal with New Japan, and New Japan has a working deal with AEW, but CMLL and AAA don't work well together. So, what do you guys think about this?
Well, I mean,
this is a melting pot.
If you look back in the days of WCW, the real height of the cruiserweight division, I mean, WCW is doing the same thing. They were using multiple guys from several different Mexican companies. I mean, WCW basically had a working agreement with everyone other than WWE. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
WCW had working agreements with New Japan, All Japan, Onita's company, FMW, AAA, CMLL. Like WCW was just working with every single company out there. Except WWE, obviously. They even had a working agreement with ECW for a while. So it's and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Jim Cornette's promotion. So I mean, it's not unheard of for a situation like this. I think the worst part about this happening tonight is who's actually going to see it, because everyone's going to be watching the Rumble.
True.
I mean, if Tony was smart, you either hold off a week on bringing on these new talent to Collision, or you start Collision at 6:00 tonight, so it runs till 8:00, right before when the Rumble starts. Going head to head with probably the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, not smart.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And Collision looks amazing tonight. I mean, the cage match looks awesome. FTR and Danny Garcia versus the House of Black. That's going to be a hell of a match, but who's going to see it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the whole card is stacked.
Yeah.
You got, here, let me run down the card real quick. We got Serena Deeb returning to the ring after a 2-year hiatus. Like, she had been gone for about 2 years. I am so glad to see the professor herself, Serena Deeb, returning. You got Lady Frost and Mariah May. Lady Frost, an amazing talent to sign with AEW. Bryan Danielson versus Yuji Nagata. We're talking like a Japanese legend, former WCW legend as well. Then we got Orange Cassidy defending the International Championship against Commander. There's another great match right there. I mean, say what you will about Orange Cassidy. I remember when we first started watching him, we were like, yeah, he's a joke. We can't believe how stupid he's. But then some of the matches he put together, oh my God, like barn burners, fire. The guy is talented. Right. And then we have that main event, like I said, the steel cage match. FTR and Dan Garcia versus the House of Black. That's going to be another barn burner. I just don't understand why they're putting this show on. That's going to be live from Bossier City, Louisiana, at the Brookshire Grocery Arena. Live on TNT.
God, I mean, they honestly should have just held it at the grocery store, because I don't expect a good turnout tonight.
Young Wolf
live are, and here's the thing, like,
it is a local talent. We don't know who it's going to be, but I mean, it's going to be a barn burner.
You can't try to counter program one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. There's no way there is no one out there that Tony Khan could book tonight that could take views away from the Royal Rumble outside of Vince McMahon himself.
Wow.
Like, but honest,
I won't even say that though.
Is that wrong?
I would say if Roman Reigns showed up in AEW tonight, that would be completely different.
That would be different. Yeah.
Even then, it takes some views away, but like the only thing I feel like would take massive views away from the Rumble would be Vince McMahon showing up to Collision.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Right.
Could you imagine?
Wow, that would be wrong.
Vince and Tony hugging on stage.
That is never gonna happen.
No,
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. WWE was holding a live auction. Gunther talks about the Rumble and all these other cool things. Last night, they were talking about this and it was on the WWE's website that today at 10:15, Ron the Truth Killings and Big E Langston, along with Gorgeous. You know who that is? Tyler Breeze.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't say anything. I'm like, you know who that is, right?
Because we do.
Well,
They
I
were doing a
thought
live
you were talking
auction.
to our audience. I apologize.
Okay. They were doing a live auction at the WWE's Royal Rumble Superstore on Fanatics Live. They're going to be doing it again tomorrow from the WWE store.
So you're saying Big E's in town?
Yeah, Big E's in town. We had Kofi Kingston versus Big E versus Austin Creed, aka Xavier Woods, in a 1-to-5 Tekken match live. Also, Ric Flair was on Busted Open Radio on their website talking about his 1992 Royal Rumble win. Gunther was also on Busted Open talking about his Royal Rumble aspirations to being the winner. Being the Intercontinental Champion, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history, there's nothing else Gunther can do with that Intercontinental Championship. But that's just my opinion. Right. Like the guy has done it all. The guy has been undefeated for well over 585 days or something like that.
I don't see him dropping the title either until Mania.
If he drops it.
If he drops it.
Yeah, I mean,
he ain't defending it tonight. When's the last time he did defend it?
He hasn't defended on a pay-per-view. It wasn't like 3 weeks ago on TV, a month ago on TV.
I think Chad Gable was his last. Oh no, he defended against the Miz. That was his last defense. But
he defended it twice against the Miz, didn't he?
But the Miz has been in this feud. The Miz has been in this feud with the Judgment Day for at least a month now. So it's been over a month since Gunther wrestled him for it.
Yeah, that could be it. So the WWE also announced.
Back to Gunther just for a quick second, and Gunther won't be able to go to the Elimination Chamber because of him getting a citizenship in the United States because he can't leave the country for 6 months. So he won't be defending it at the Elimination Chamber.
Young Wolf says, I don't think it's about counter programming, but the Vince News is definitely a black eye on it, but they'll still obviously make money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people are there.
It's like CM Punk said in the original Pipe Bomb, the company will still make money in spite of itself.
Yeah. So the WWE announced a few additional dates for their 2024 live event tour. The premium live event NXT Battleground is set for Savannah, Georgia on Sunday, May 26th. You can get an exclusive combo tickets for Battleground and Monday Night Raw, which is going to be in the same building. Wow. Okay, so
one of it's the same building that AEW ran this past Wednesday.
Oh, I don't know. So in Stamford, Connecticut, the WWE part of TKO Group Holdings announced 21 live events as part of the company's 2024 touring schedule. Of course, tickets for each live event include exclusive combo tickets for Battleground, NXT, and Monday Night Raw for Sunday, May 26th and Monday, May 27th at the Air Market Arena in Savannah, Georgia. NXT Battleground will feature some of the biggest stars from NXT in action, including Ilya Dragunov, Lyle Valkyria. Is it Obi? What is his name? Obi Fennell? Oba. I don't know. Oba.
I don't know.
Oba Fem or something like that.
Yeah. Oba Fem. He's the NXT North American champion. Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo, the NXT Tag Team champions, and additional tickets would be okay. So here's their live. Here's their tour schedule. Friday, May 10th, we're gonna have a Friday Night SmackDown in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania at the Mohegan Sun. Saturday, May 11th, we're gonna have a WWE Super Show, University of Tennessee at the Chattanooga McKenzie Arena. Sunday, May 12th, Macon, Georgia, WWE Super Show at the Macon Coliseum. Monday, May 13th, Greenville, South Carolina, Monday Night Raw. Friday, May 17th, Jacksonville, Florida at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Friday Night SmackDown. Monday, May 20th, Greensboro, South Carolina, Monday Night Raw, Greensboro Coliseum, Flair Country. Sunday, May 26th, Savannah, Georgia, NXT Battleground. Monday, May 27th, WWE Monday Night Raw. May 31st, Albany, New York, Friday Night SmackDown, the MVP Arena. Saturday, June 1st, White Plains, New York, WWE Super Show Summer Tour. Sunday, June 2nd, Bremerton, New York. Binghamton, New York, sorry. WWE Super Show Summer Tour. Monday Night Raw, Hershey, Pennsylvania, June 3rd at the Giant Center. Friday Night SmackDown, Louisville, Kentucky at the KFC Yum Center. Yum.
God almighty.
Hey, this one's close to you, Center. Monday Night Raw, June 10th, Toledo, Ohio at the Huntington Center.
That's about 3 hours away.
I know Raw is going to be here for the final Raw before WrestleMania, I believe, in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Friday, June 14th, Tulsa, Oklahoma is at the BOK Center. It's going to be Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, Corpus Christi, Texas at the American Bank Center, June 17th. Saturday, June 22nd, Bloomington, Illinois, WWE Super Show Summer Tour. Sunday, June 23rd, Kalamazoo, Michigan, WWE Super Show Summer Tour. Monday, June 24th, Indianapolis, Indiana, Monday Night Raw. My favorite day of the year, Monday, July 1st, my birthday, TD Gardens, Monday Night Raw. July 8th, Ottawa, Ontario, Monday Night Raw at the Canadian Tire Center.
How far are we going into this calendar?
Yeah, seriously.
This has been like a 10-hour segment.
I know, right? That was the last one.
Oh, thank God.
That Monday Night Raw, July 8th. Jesus Christ. They announced a lot of shows. It's crazy.
I'm distracted by Drew's cat up on his shelf now.
Have you been distracted by the cat the entire time?
No. Him on top of that bookcase has just now distracted me.
Like elf on the shelf, cat on the shelf.
Yeah.
Elf on the shelf. Here's another cool thing. NXT stars are headed to Booker T's promotion. So Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. Let's see. That they're gonna have did Sheamus say he's gonna be there? Oh, no, we have
could Sheamus be coming back tonight?
Could be.
I really think so. I didn't even think about it. Duke Hudson's going to be there February 10th at the Walker Texas Lawyer Arena. Wow.
Walker Texas Lawyer? Is that like a sequel?
I know, right?
After the Life of Crime fight-in was over, he became a lawyer?
He's like, yeah, man, I was fighting crime as a Texas Ranger. Okay. Now I'm a lawyer.
If Sheamus does come back tonight, I hope he does not eliminate Drew, because I do not want to sit through another Drew Sheamus feud.
Yeah, that would not be fun.
We've had way too many Drew Sheamus feuds in the last 3 years.
Did you guys see the video that he put out on Twitter earlier today?
Drew's?
When he was talking about
yeah.
Oh yeah, Drew's video, yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Okay, so I hate to get into this. I really hate to get it. No, I'm not going to get into this shit. Let me talk about something else. As per Mike Johnson, a PWI insider, the WWE is working on a sorry, my computer just did some crazy stuff. PWI insider exclusive reported on January 12th that the WWE has been working on a Bray Wyatt project in recent weeks. Bo Dallas has been interviewed for the project, and he was in Pittsburgh for the with the company on January 11th, where Coliseum Studios is located, which is where they do all the WWE, remember I used to do those WWE
Coliseum videos,
Coliseum home videos like that. Yeah. Jason Baker of Coliseum said, was the creator of the Bray Wyatt Fiend mask, and he was also there, and likely he did the Howdy mask as well.
He's actually going to be in Ohio here in a few weeks for a toy show.
It says that they filmed some content, and there's no word whether the project will be a WWE digital YouTube content or if it's beginning something greater for the WWE Network or A&E, et cetera, et cetera. That would be great. That would be really great. Give Bo Dallas an opportunity to honor his brother I don't like the whole Uncle Howdy thing. Yeah, go ahead and get rid of that. Get rid of it, but allow him to be Bo Dallas and, as the brother of Bray Wyatt and be able to do something in honor of Bray's name. If Bo Dallas showed up in the Rumble tonight dressed as Bray Wyatt, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I don't think he needs to be dressed as Bray Wyatt, but maybe they could.
They
could change his name to Bo Wyatt.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Paying homage to his brother. Like he didn't need to be dressed as him, but I'm just saying, like, if he was there paying homage to his brother, that would be awesome, man. Like that would be a good callback.
I would say bring him back as like Bo Wyndham.
Well, that's his real name, though, isn't it? Well, the last name is
Rotunda's.
Oh, right. Wyndham was his first name.
Was Bray's first name was Wyndham, which is because their uncle, that was
Barry Windham, yeah.
Yeah, Barry Windham, Blackjack Mulligan, all them. I would like to see him come back as like Bo Wyndham. So it's not like he's not trying to carry on the legacy of Bray Wyatt, but he's honoring his family's name and Bray Wyatt's real name.
And it does sound nice, Bo Wyndham.
Oh yeah, Bo Wyndham I think sounds great.
So let's talk about TNA wrestling. I've been wanting to talk about this all week, but everything that's been going on kind of overshadowed everything. And this right here, Young Wolf kind of threw something out there. We were talking about off the air. I don't know if it's just rumor, but apparently Jordan Grace is going to appear in the Rumble because apparently there's a WWE TNA partnership. I would not confirm or deny that because I don't know like 100%, but I do know that there have been talks about her showing up tonight. And then they did announce that a TNA wrestler was going to be in the Rumble. But check this out. January 25th, which was yesterday, TNA Wrestling's television, the first 2 weeks of TNA television on Access TV, January 18th, 2024, the return episode, they did 112,000 views.
Is that good?
I mean,
compared to what they would get normally?
They're 0.2 in the 18 to 49 demo. On the 25th, which was yesterday, they did 102,000, which is also a 0.2 in the 18 to 49 demo. So being on Access TV, well, we discussed it before. Access TV is really hard to get.
Yeah.
Like you have to
most companies don't carry. Most cable companies do not carry.
Yeah, like you really have to find Access TV. So for 112,000 people to find Access TV, that's great.
Yeah.
And if something happens in the Rumble tonight, people are going to like, oh man, if Moose shows up in the Rumble, the TNA World Champion, if Moose shows up, what if the Motor City Machine Guns show up? What if Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth shows up? He's a TNA guy now. What if Dirty Dango shows up? He's a TNA guy.
I want to speak right quick on the Access thing. So Access is basically the American version of the Fight Network in Canada, which is the owners of TNA. Anthem. So that's why Access is so hard to find because it's not really an American channel per se.
Yeah.
It's just a rebranded version of the Canadian channel, and that's why a lot of cable companies do not carry it.
You do get access if you have Sling TV. I know that.
Well, yeah, I watch it on Sling.
Yeah, Sling TV
they do not have it on YouTube TV.
YouTube does not have Hulu TV does not have it. Spectrum Cable does not carry it. I believe Dish Network does, or either Dish or DirecTV do not carry it either.
Well, the fact that they're drawing so many eyes to TNA, I mean, like this, it's only been 2 weeks. And like I said, if let's say Jordan Grace does show up in the Rumble as the Impact the TNA Knockouts champion, if she shows up in the Rumble, and Michael Cole's going to be like, she's the TNA Knockouts champion, blah blah blah.
Well, they did that with Mickie James a few years ago too.
Exactly, but Mickie James is like a TNA legend, but she's also a WWE legend too. So of course they're going to put her over. But if they imagine if they just come out and be like, TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace, TNA World Champion Moose, the grizzled young veteran. Well, they'll never go by WWE, but anyway, if you think about them like announcing something like that, announcing a partnership with them, their numbers are going to skyrocket. Their numbers are going to skyrocket.
Oh, yeah.
I will say like 200,000 people will watch the next episode of Impact. Maybe,
but that will also depend on if people can even watch the show. Yeah,
if people can find,
you have to have access in order to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, but in my opinion, that's still pretty good. You know what I mean?
So I just looking up the numbers here. Access TV is available in 50 million homes in the United States, which is not a lot at all.
It is.
I mean,
Well,
50 million
considering
sounds like
it's
a lot.
considering
right.
it's not an American company, it's
Right.
that is a lot. Actually, I would say it's a lot. I'm sure at least.
Well, by
say
comparison, the USA
2 million
Network,
of those people are wrestling fans or casual wrestling fans.
well, in comparison, the USA Network is available in over 90 million homes.
Yes. Well, obviously I would hope that the USA Network was available in the USA. You know, that's
Right.
if it wasn't, that would be a little strange. But
TBS is available in about 71 million homes, and TNT is available in about 71 million homes. So if you kind of look at the breakdown between the three major companies, obviously WWE as of right now is available in the most homes with the USA Network. Not even counting Fox, because the number of houses that Fox is in, because it's basic cable, is just ridiculous. But just with Raw alone, Raw has access. WWE has access to 90 million homes, 20 million more than AEW, and 40 more than TNA does. So if you kind of break down per capita, those are great ratings for TNA, 102,000 people. And it's not, and it's, I mean, and even like, okay, so AEW is available in 21 million more homes than TNA. And I mean, on average, even their Saturday show is only beating TNA by about 300,000 people.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy to even think.
Right.
Speaking of other news, Ronda Rousey doesn't think Vince McMahon is actually gone from the WWE.
Yeah.
Ronda tweeted out today, Bruce Pritchard is basically Vince's avatar. If he's still around, Vince is still around, hand in hand in the business. Vince was still running things through Bruce when Vince was supposedly gone the first time. We've talked about this.
Oh yeah, we all knew it.
Bruce Pritchard is a Vince McMahon guy.
He's a yes man.
Yeah, I think TKO Holdings will get rid of all of the Vince McMahon guys.
I'm not going to say they're going to get rid of all the Vince McMahon guys. They're going to get rid of the Vince McMahon yes men. So your people like Bruce are going to be gone. Kevin Dunn already gone.
Kevin Dunn left on his own accord.
He saw the writing on the wall. He knew it was coming. He knew it was coming.
His ass would have been fired if he didn't do that.
But I mean, if you look at the overall company, the only yes men still in the company are Bruce, Hunter, and Sean.
Oh, I don't know about the Sean thing.
Oh, definitely Sean. Sean's been a Vince McMahon guy from day one.
Yeah, but I think Sean and Hunter are actually good for the WWE at this moment.
I do too.
I think that an investigation, I mean, look, it leads into that topic, so we have to talk about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But an investigation, an outside investigation, needs to be conducted, a full-fledged investigation on to try and figure out who exactly knew what Vince McMahon was doing, and whoever those people are need to go. Whether it's Triple H and Shawn Michaels, whether it's Bruce Pritchard, whether it's, I mean, there's WWE employee, WWE executive, WWE talent. You know, these are words mentioned in the lawsuit, the 67-page lawsuit. These people need to go, whoever they are.
So here's the thing.
Hold on, before you go any further, I will say this. As per Mike Johnson from PWI Insider yesterday, a former WWE Board of Director member states investigation into Vince McMahon included outreach to Janelle Grant and her attorney. The New York Times coverage of the lawsuit filed by Janelle Grant yesterday against WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis featured comments from Jeff Speed, who quit the WWE Board of Directors in January of 2023. So that's like last year.
Right. When Vince forced himself back in.
Yeah, when McMahon returned to the company, but helped lead the investigation into him with the initial allegations of McMahon's actions were brought to the board's attention. Responding to the allegations made in the lawsuit, that no one from WWE had communications with Grant, who in the lawsuit described herself as willing to take part in the conversation. Speed stated that they did indeed reach out to Grant. So the board did reach out. In a statement sent via law firm Simpson Thatcher and Bartlett LLP, the third party that led the investigation into McMahon, Speed commented, "I remain confident in the investigation, which included outreach to Miss Grant and an engagement with her lawyer." Speed also stated that he acknowledged the horrific nature of the allegations brought by Grant via her lawsuit, but was not at liberty to comment on what was and what was not learned during the investigation. So they probably knew this was coming from that initial investigation.
Oh, yeah.
And
so I want to bring up two things that I think people are forgetting about. The first thing is, this ain't just 4, 5, even 10 years of dirt that has happened in this company. I mean, this is 40, 50 years of just disgusting stuff this company has been going on in this company. You can go all the way back from when Jimmy Snuka allegedly murdered his girlfriend in the hotel room, and WWF covered it up. WWF told Snuka to act like he couldn't speak English, act like his character, so that they could deny it to the cops and make them think Snuka couldn't speak for himself to be questioned. And his lawyer answered, and Vince's lawyer answered all the questions. To the Garvin, Patterson. Well, I'm not even going to put Pat Patterson in there because that was something separate. But the Mel Phillips and the Garvin situation with molesting the Rain Boys. To Pat Patterson allegedly making, adult men. So there's no like underage thing with Pat Patterson that was ever alleged. The allegations against Pat were that he was propositioning adult wrestlers to have sex with him to keep their spot on the roster. Which I think that gets a lot, because Pat gets lumped into the child molestation accusations a lot, which he was not part of that. But I mean, stuff like that, going back to Ashley, like I'm talking about the other day, Ashley Mazzaro in Kuwait getting raped by the soldier and being told by WWE to shut up about it. Stuff like that. And then a lot of people are also forgetting, just last year, the federal government raided Vince McMahon's home. And we don't know what they raided it for, what they found.
Well, that's where they got the phone. That's where they got the phone and the text messages from.
Well, no, the text messages were from the person following the lawsuit's phone.
Oh.
But we don't know what the federal government was raiding Vince's house for, because if you know the federal government, they're not working fast. So just because it's been almost a year since Vince's house got raided, we could still see charges at any time for whatever reason they were raiding his house. Not just all his houses and his office. So we don't even know yet what's going on with like that's something that kind of got lost in the news site. It was reported by TKO, but it was swept under a rug and it's never really been discussed. But there could still be other things coming down the barrel at Vince McMahon, legality wise, that we don't even know about.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, there's a long road ahead for Vince McMahon, I think.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is he's done this time.
Oh, he's definitely 100%
This isn't like the retirement
right
last time. And thank you, Vince chance. This is a full-fledged gone. Goodbye.
And I agree with Rhonda that they're still going to be in the company that Vince works through until they are getting rid of. Bruce Pritchard is definitely going to be one of them. Bruce has been out of the company now for a few months because of a shoulder surgery. So he hasn't been working directly with the company since, I want to say, November. He had shoulder surgery in December, I believe. So he hasn't been working with the company. I mean, he works for the company, but he actually hasn't been doing work since December in his shoulder surgery. So right now he's kind of kept at a distance anyways. But I couldn't see them bringing him back thinking that Vince wouldn't be in his ear.
Well,
Well,
if
that's
in
either
that
here or
case,
there.
in that case, I mean, aren't most people in positions of power in WWE people that Vince could be in the ear of? I mean,
So here's the thing: if you remember when TKO took over, they fired a lot of the WWE staff. So a lot of people that Vince had hired or been hired through Vince have already been let go when the merger happened, because the TKO staff is the one that came in and took all the office jobs in WWE. So I think a lot of the Vince backers are already gone from the company. You just have a few select ones that were actually part of the wrestling business itself that are still there, like Bruce Pritchard. I don't really know. Outside of Bruce, I don't know who would be there. I know we could say Michael Hayes possibly, but I don't think Michael Hayes is the yes man that like other people were.
like Don, Johnny,
Briscoe, Patterson, those were all like Vince's core guys that would die for Vince. I don't think Michael is one of those guys. I think Michael has always been more of a Triple H guy. But yeah, I mean, it's hard telling. I mean, if you look at the wrestling side of things, Triple H has done a good job of putting people he feels comfortable with in positions in the company. Road Dogg, guys from the Indies like Steve Corino, guys that Vince really doesn't have like a hold on. William Regal, who is a big Triple H guy. And I feel like Michael kind of fits in that cat because Vince was never a Michael Hayes fan because he's too Southern. But yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, like I said before, it's really just if an investigation is done and they find out who were the people that were covering it up based on the 67-page lawsuit that came out. Right. Those people need to go, whoever they are, whether it's Triple H, whether it's Bruce, whether it's Michael Hayes, whether it's
Sean,
anybody, whatever wrestler it was, as high or low as they may be on the card, whatever office person it is, whether it's his second hand, whether it's the janitor, whoever it is, those people need to go.
I mean, if you look, I mean, even now, like with kind of staff, I wouldn't even call them office, but staff, like even your road agents, it's a lot of younger guys now as road agents. Your Shane Helms, your Kenny Dykstra's, who else? Jason Jordan. So a lot of those, like, as you remember, for the longest time, it was, the road agents were Rene Goulet, people that would come out and break up the fights, and you'd be like, who is that? I see him every week. But yeah, but those people now are like kind of those ruthless aggression stars are the ones that have slowly taken over those road agent positions.
So let me list this real quick. Kimberly Ford, Royalty Canadian on Twitter, she posted a list of people to be held accountable. Number 1, Vince McMahon resigned. Number 2, John Laurinaitis. He was obviously fired. WWE superstar, ? Media blogger, douchebag. We already know about him.
Yeah.
Special committee, WWE corporate officer number 1, corporate officer number 2, corporate officer number 3, corporate officer number 4. A second WWE superstar, human resource employee number 1, human resource employee number 2, WWE employee number 1, celebrity doctor, WWE referee. We talked about that referee the other night, who I told you I know exactly who the referee is. I'm not going to say who it is because it's not my place.
So I'm wondering.
Vince's personal physical therapist, the WWE Tech Crew, and the WWE Crew Fan Club. These are all the people that were listed in this in that 67 page lawsuit, all those people need to be held accountable.
Yeah. What irony would it be if the physical therapist talked about is the guy that sued CM Punk and Colt Cabana?
It could be.
What justification CM Punk would have then?
Man.
It's
Just all of this.
There's a lot of people listed there, and those people have to go if they find
Yeah.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Those
And
people need to be held accountable.
And I think they will come out throughout the court. If the case goes to court, if Vince does not settle out of court with her, which Vince is known to do, he did that with Rita Chapman, the referee that he is allegedly raped. He settled out of court with her for an undisclosed amount of money. So if Vince does not settle out of court, it's going to drag a lot of names into this because names will be spoken in court. They will not remain anonymous if this goes to court, which Vince is petty enough to make it go to court just to bring down the entire ship with them.
You know what? Like we said, we don't usually talk about our opinions. We strictly talk about facts. But I'm going to say that, I don't personally know Vince McMahon. I've met him twice in the course of my 31 years. Twice. And both times he was nice to me and he was nice to my child. The first time. The second time he was nice to me, my child wasn't with me at the time. So I can't make any educated statements as to what I really and truly think he did or he did not do. But just the everything that was talked about here, like a lot of those people need to be addressed. Mm-hmm. And anyone that knew and didn't come forward, they should be held equally accountable.
Right.
Like if you knew about it and you didn't do nothing about it, you're in trouble too.
Yeah.
At least morally, you should think about how you're living your life.
Right.
Stephanie McMahon was the interim WWE chairman while their committee was investigating this. They never asked Ms. Grant any questions. So Stephanie, she knew about the NDAs. They never asked Ms. Grant any questions. So
that's a problem.
Can Stephanie be implicated in this as well?
Yeah.
I mean, she was on the committee. Triple H was on the committee.
Yeah. Nick Khan. So look, Stephanie was mentioned in the investigation, right? If Grant was under the NDA at the time and Vince was still paying the agreed sum, then that should have been disclosed, right? It should have been disclosed internally.
Yeah.
So if we knew about this internally, Stephanie obviously knew about the payments. I'm pretty sure Stephanie's a smart person in asking what the hell these payments are for. Because remember, this all came out because an enormous amount of money was being funneled out of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And it was being funneled through Vince's private accounts. And those private accounts are the reasons why this happened. And think about this. A lot of women have been complaining over the years. A lot of people have left the WWE over the years. Sasha Banks, Naomi, they left, and it was creative. But Sasha is a Triple H girl. Mercedes is a Triple H girl. So was Bayley. So was Naomi. Naomi got into that group. So do you think the reason they left was because of Triple H? I mean, because of Vince and what was going on? Because quite honestly, on my shoot job, I work for a globally traded, very popular company. We have, and literally on the place where I work, there's 77,515 employees. I know that because of what I do for the company. There's a lot of people there. The owner and CEO of the company, I literally saw him yesterday. So these are people that are like average, down-to-earth people. They're billionaires, yes, but they walk, they talk, they shake hands, they kiss babies, they do all that stuff like normal people. If something happened at my work, it's like the telephone game. Telephone, tell a friend. We all are going to find out. Literally. Someone stole the coffee. Someone stole tips from the coffee lady's cup in a building that's not even on my campus, and I found out about it. So if a company that big with over a million and a half employees worldwide. If you can find out, if I can find out things that happen in Los Angeles and then at the campus in Japan, if I can find that out from Portland, the WWE isn't that big. Somebody knew something.
Oh, a lot of people knew stuff.
And the people that know something, I mean, it's too late now.
It's kind of crazy too when you think about like all of this probably never would have been an issue for WWE if they didn't sell to Endeavor.
No, so
exactly.
No, I will actually disagree with that. None of this I feel like would have actually been an issue for WWE if Vince would have actually paid out on the NDAs. The reasons it became an issue and it became too late was because he did not make full payment as promised with the NDA. And that gave her grounds to sue for him breaching the agreement of the NDA. So if Vince would have if Vince would have actually paid the $3 million like he promised, she would have had no reason to file a lawsuit. She would have had no ground to file a lawsuit because he held up his end of the NDA.
Well, you know what though, I do agree with what you just said, but also take into account that before Endeavor and TKO, WWE was much more private in the business sense. I mean, obviously it's a publicly traded company, but within the people in the company, it was more of a private thing, which is why not really much of this stuff came out before sales talks were started.
Well, look, yesterday.
So it originally came out because they had a whistleblower about the NDA. So someone came forward about the NDAs because, like with this situation, Vince did not pay out on the NDA like promised. So that's what originally brought it to the board's attention. And then they started looking at the financials of the company and noticed that money was going places that didn't make sense. And that's what started the investigation. And that's what caused Vince to step down. So the whole thing from the very start was over him not paying on the NDA and someone being mad about it and sending all the evidence to the board of directors, which started the investigation and made him step down. Because that's a Vince MO, is making deals for a certain amount of money, making an initial payment, and never paying again. He did it to many territories over the years.
So listen to this. Wrestle Purists posted this last night at 7 p.m. They've already had 1 million views about this. There's a belief in the WWE that Endeavor may sweep out anyone close to Vince McMahon and his remaining team in order to have a complete, quote-unquote, fresh start for the company going forward. There were employees who exited the company when Vince initially resigned who returned when he forced his way back in. For those who have remained with the WWE post-Endeavor purchase, the belief among the spokesmen within their connection with McMahon may be a major negativity going forward in the WWE status. So think about this. You worked for the WWE with Vince. You're a Vince person. Vince got pushed out. Vince left. You left. And now when Vince came back, you came back. Now he's gone. All those naysayers, all those Vince McMahon people are going to be booted out again. I do think that the Slim Jim thing that happened when Slim Jim was like, yo, we want no part of this.
Right.
And then Vince resigned. And then Slim Jim was like, okay, we'll come back. Like, I think that if Vince would have stayed, they would have lost a lot of sponsors. Little Caesars, Progressive, all these people that sponsor WWE, they'd have left.
Right. So, and I do want to point this out when it talks about people that were pushed out when Vince left and then came back with them. They're talking about board members there. Because if you remember when Vince was pushing his way back into the company, they fired a handful of board members so that Vince's people would be appointed to those positions to vote him back in. So those board members need to be the first ones to go if they're still there. But there is a good chance that when Endeavor took over, those board members were replaced anyways. But it is also possible they're still there.
Yeah, because the TKO part with the UFC WWE merger, that made, I think, 5 or 6 board people for WWE and then 5 or 6 for UFC.
So if you
And
remember,
WWE's original board had like what, up to
I think 12.
15 or almost.
Well, and
something like
if you remember, the news came out not that long ago that Triple H is no longer on the board.
Yes, that's right.
Which I forgot about that till just now, but Triple H ain't even a board member. So and the people
and now
they had,
Rock is
right, the people they had to take out the board apparently were not Vince people; they were Paul people. They got removed from the board. Paul and Stephanie people.
Right.
So it's wonder how many of those seats at the TKO table are held by Vince people.
You know, something that this isn't like directly related to what we're talking about right now, but a few minutes ago in my head randomly, I was thinking about Shane, and we had talked, I think we didn't say it on the show, right? About the reported rumor of why Shane and Vince had that on the show. That was on the show. No. Yeah, so before the show we talked about how the reported rumor between Shane and Vince falling out was because Shane didn't want to be like Vince.
Right.
For some reason, it made me think back to 2016 when Shane returned in that segment, that like the award that Stephanie was supposed to be getting, and then Shane returned, and the conversation that they had, the two of them, after Stephanie left the ring, about Shane having the key to a lockbox that had, things that needed to not ever be publicized. And then the thing that I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, that would be Vince,
right?
To put a realistic thing that nobody thinks is real, but
I mean, anyone
there might even be a lockbox for real,
right? And the thing you're talking about is, the rumor contention is that Shane did not want to be like Vince. And by all, accounts of people that have been in the company, Shane was the polar opposite of Vince. When Shane was there, he was one of the boys. He was traveling with the boys. He wasn't taking the private jet and stuff like that. Like, he was in the rental car with the Dudley boys, and stuff like that. Like, he was one of the boys when he was with the company. I would say Shane was the polar opposite of how Vince was. I would say Shane is more like Vince Sr. than Vince Jr. And I think Shane's kids generally love the pro wrestling business, and I think Shane's kids want to get involved in the pro wrestling business. So I would not be surprised to see this as a way for Shane to get his foot back in the door with the company.
Nick Khan was taking pictures at the WWE Royal Rumble Superstore 10 minutes before the news broke that Vince was leaving.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about the last news item we had, the new Raw TV deal.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's go.
So, Raw, starting in January, will be moving to Netflix, which that's going to be a big thing in itself. We'll cover about just the streaming versus actual live TV. But it is a deal for 10 years with a $5 billion price tag on it. But Netflix has the opportunity to end the deal after 5 if they are not happy. They also have the option to extend the deal to 20 if they are.
And I feel like they probably would be happy.
Oh, you would think so. It's got to bring more new eyes. Everyone, see, the thing I don't know, because it feels like everyone has Netflix. So are you really going to bring new subscribers to Netflix? So in the American market, are you going to really bring new eyes to Netflix? Just about everyone has Netflix in America. Now, I think it's great for them internationally.
Yeah.
Because Netflix is becoming the WWE network internationally. The WWE network will be done away with. All the premium live events and all that will be on Netflix. So I think internationally it's going to see a big boost in Netflix earnings. I just don't think here in America it's going to make a difference because I feel like everyone already has Netflix.
Yeah, and eventually, that's going to teeter out a bit after the deal because, like the same thing that happened with Peacock, once the network was done in the United States, people weren't that happy with Peacock. So it led to cancellations, and that could very well happen with Netflix too.
I still hate the WWE Network on Peacock. The only difference is between like that situation and this one is that Netflix will be the exclusive home for Raw. Like it's easy to be tired of Peacock and just cancel out Peacock because you can still watch Raw on Mondays without it. You have to have Netflix if you want to watch the biggest show of the week.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
So the other
what would be great too is once the Peacock deal is up in I think 2026, they just use Netflix. I mean, shit. What if you're gonna put Raw on Netflix and you're gonna put the PLEs for international people and the tape library for international on Netflix? Why the hell wouldn't you just put it for the US on Netflix too?
Right.
So listen to this before we go. 18 hours ago, Brandon Thurston at WrestleNomics posted this. Vince's super voting power is no more since TKO merger was completed last September. His majority voting power was at 80% then, which allowed him to force his way back into the WWE in early 2023. At last count, he holds 12% of TKO stock, therefore just 12% of the vote. Now, before selling 8,400,000 shares yesterday, Vince McMahon held 28,682,948 TKO shares. That was according to the filings, which was about 16.4% of the company. There is roughly 173 million TKO shares overall. So Vince owned 16.4%. Linda owns 0.3%. Stephanie owns 1.1%. Now, Linda
still owns?
Linda owns 0.3%. Stephanie owns 1.1%. Vince McMahon owns now 11.6%. Endeavor owns 51.0%. TKO shares held by financial institutions and executives are at 36%. That was immediately after. So Vince sold 8.4 million shares on 11/9/20 on November 9th, 2023. So he doesn't own a lot of shares in TKO.
No.
So people that think that Vince still has,
and he could basically live off the rest of his life on
with those TKO shares.
Yeah.
Fucking rich piece of shit.
Jesus Christ.
So
Brandon Thurston, that guy, man, WrestleNomics, he has never been wrong.
Right. So before we head out with just on the Netflix topic, there is a 3-month gap between the end of their USA agreement and their start on Netflix. And USA has come out and said, no, we are not extending them for 3 months. After September, they will not be on the USA Network anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to go in those 3 months in between. They can't. So the thing is, Raw can't go. The reason the Netflix deal doesn't start till January is because of the current Hulu deal, to where Hulu gets exclusive rights the next day to Raw. And that's why Raw is like a couple of weeks behind on the Peacock app, because Hulu has first rights to it for X amount of time.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Before it can go. So that deal doesn't end until December. So they can't start early on Netflix or any other streaming service with Raw until that Hulu deal is done. So where does Raw go for those 3 months?
That's a good question.
You know what? Whatever day SmackDown is going to be on is going to be Raw SmackDown Super Show until January 1st.
Now that right there, I can believe.
So they could. So the problem with that would be is I don't think the SmackDown deal don't start until next year.
No, it's October.
Oh, is it October?
Yeah, I think it was October.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, so they would still have to call it SmackDown because USA Network bought the rights to have SmackDown shown on the station. So they would have to still call it, they couldn't call it Raw, obviously. They couldn't just put Raw in SmackDown's place until the Netflix deal.
Oh no, it would be like how Raw would do Super
Right.
Show, and it wouldn't say SmackDown on it. It should be SmackDown Super Show with
Yeah, I
Raw
mean, yeah.
talent.
Yeah, they could do that. But it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. If they work out a deal with maybe another station to, I mean, maybe they'll work out a deal with Fox to do a 3-month run of Raw on Fox. Maybe they'll work out a deal with ESPN since Endeavor's in good with ESPN.
That's true. So with that being said, guys, let's not go any further with this. We already passed our hour mark. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here on the Roundtable News Network. For the Drew Nicholas and for Sunday Center, I am the franchise. We'll see you guys in a few hours for the Royal Rumble. We have Royal Rumble trivia right before the Rumble, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
4:30. I thought we were going live at 7 at the beginning of the pre-show.
Okay, 4:00.
That's what I thought. I don't know.
Anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you when we see you. Have a good night.